The inside-out approach, the key to transformative change. Welcome, everyone, to a journey into one of the most profoundly impactful books of all time, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This isn't just a book. It's a meticulously crafted map leading to a life of effectiveness, meaning, and true fulfillment. So, what makes this work a timeless classic? Stephen Covey doesn't offer superficial tips or quick fixes. Instead, he invites us to embark on an inside-out revolution. Imagine this. You're driving your car. The engine warning light is on, the fuel is low, and a tire is flat. You could try painting the car a new color, slapping on a fresh bumper sticker, or just topping off the windshield wiper fluid. But will any of those surface-level solutions get you any further down the road? Absolutely not. The real problems lie within: the engine, the fuel tank, or that flat tire. Life works much the same way. We often tend to focus on external problems, trying to change other people, altering our circumstances, or applying various communication techniques. But Stephen Covey reveals that our deepest issues, personal conflicts, inefficiencies, unmet goals, all originate from within ourselves. What is Covey's core philosophy? It revolves around 2 powerful concepts: paradigm and principles. Paradigm. Think of a paradigm as the lens through which you view the world. It's your system of beliefs, assumptions, and values. A flawed paradigm can distort your perception of problems, much like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription. For example, if your paradigm is everyone is selfish, you'll constantly see selfishness in others' actions, even if they don't intend it. Covey states that small changes in attitude or behavior are easy, but a breakthrough change only occurs when we fundamentally shift our paradigms. When your paradigm changes, the way you see the world changes, and from that, your behavior naturally shifts. Principles. Covey asserts that beyond personal values, which can vary from person to person, there exist universal and timeless principles. They are like natural laws, unarguable and always true, whether you believe in them or not. For instance, fairness, integrity, honesty, human dignity, quality, excellence, service, patience, courage, contribution. Violating these principles is like trying to defy gravity. You're bound to struggle. Conversely, when you align your life with these principles, your life becomes more effective and harmonious. Stephen Covey doesn't want us to merely change our public image. He wants us to transform our inner character. He doesn't teach us how to succeed superficially, but rather how to become a person of trust, integrity, and capability who can create positive change. You see, get ready to adjust your lens and explore the principles that have shaped the lives of some of the most effective people in history. We're about to begin building your private victory, the solid foundation for all other successes. Part 1. The Private Victory. Mastering Self. Welcome back. Having set the stage by understanding the power of paradigms and principles, we now embark on the first critical phase of effectiveness: the private victory. Stephen Covey emphasizes that before you can lead others, influence groups, or truly succeed in public life, you must first master yourself. This is where personal effectiveness begins, built on the bedrock of self-discipline, integrity, and proactive choices. The private victory isn't about grand gestures or public accolades. It's about developing your character, taking responsibility for your life, and clarifying your deepest values. It's the foundation upon which all other successes are built. Without a strong private victory, any public victory you achieve will be hollow and unsustainable. This section introduces the first 3 habits, which move us from dependence to independence. Habit 1. Be proactive. Explanation. This habit is the cornerstone of all other habits. To be proactive means taking responsibility for your own life. It's about recognizing that you are the creator of your circumstances, not merely a product of them. Reactive people are driven by feelings, circumstances, and external conditions. Proactive people are driven by values and conscious choices. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this habit speaks to our fundamental human freedom, the freedom to choose our response. Between a stimulus, what happens to you, and a response, how you react, there is a space. In that space lies your power to choose. Reactive individuals allow their emotions and external events to control this space, leading to feelings of victimhood and helplessness. Proactive individuals use their self-awareness, conscience, imagination, and independent will to consciously choose their response, aligning it with their values. This isn't about being aggressive or pushy. It's about being responsible and taking initiative. Illustrative example: Viktor Frankl's experience in concentration camps. Covey frequently cites Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps. Despite unimaginable suffering and the complete loss of external freedoms, Frankl discovered that his ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose his attitude and response, could not be taken away. He chose to find meaning in his suffering, focusing on helping others and even finding opportunities for humor, rather than succumbing to despair. This profound lesson illustrates the ultimate power of proactivity in the face of extreme adversity. The circle of concern versus circle of influence. Covey introduces these 2 circles. Your circle of concern encompasses all the things you worry about, e.g., the economy, the weather, other people's opinions. Your circle of influence includes things you actually can do something about, e.g., your attitude, your work ethic, your communication. Reactive people spend energy on their circle of concern, leading to feelings of helplessness. Proactive people focus their energy on their circle of influence, which in turn expands their influence, leading to positive change, taking initiative in the workplace. Imagine 2 employees, Sarah and Mark. A new project comes up, and the team hits a roadblock. Mark waits for his manager to tell him what to do, complaining about the obstacles. Sarah, however, identifies a potential solution, researches it, and proactively presents it to her manager, saying, "I've noticed this challenge, and I think we could try X. I've already looked into A, B, and C to get started." Sarah is proactive. Mark is reactive. Sarah expands her influence and solves problems. Practical application. Start by noticing your language. Do you use reactive phrases like, "I can't," "I have to," "if only"? Replace them with proactive language. "I choose to," "I prefer," "I will." Identify an area where you've been reactive and commit to a proactive response. For instance, if you're upset about traffic, instead of complaining, proactively choose to listen to an audiobook, leave earlier, or find an alternative route. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind explanation. This habit urges us to start everything with a clear vision of your desired outcome. It means truly understanding where you want to go before you begin taking steps. Covey states that all things are created twice. First, a mental or conceptual creation, the first creation, and then a physical creation, the second creation. This habit focuses on that vital first creation. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this habit taps into our inherent need for purpose and direction. Without a clear end in mind, we often fall into the trap of the activity trap, where we're busy but not effective. We might climb the ladder of success, only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. This habit encourages us to use our imagination and conscience to define our values and long-term goals. It's about designing our lives, rather than letting external forces or default settings design them for us. It also forces us to confront fundamental questions about what truly matters, ensuring that our daily actions are aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. Illustrative examples: the architect and the blueprint. Covey frequently uses the analogy of building a house. An architect doesn't just start laying bricks. First, they create a detailed blueprint. This blueprint is the first creation, the mental design of the house, envisioning every room, every pipe, every wire. Only after this mental creation is complete does the physical construction begin. Similarly, for our lives, we need a mental blueprint. The funeral visualization exercise. Covey introduces a powerful exercise. Imagine your own funeral. Who is there? What are they saying about you? What kind of spouse, parent, child, friend, colleague, or community member do you want them to remember? This vivid visualization forces you to think beyond daily tasks and connect with your deepest values and desired legacy. It helps you clarify what truly matters, guiding your actions in the present. The corporate mission statement. Many successful organizations draft a clear mission statement before they start operating. This statement defines their purpose, values, and what they aim to achieve. It guides every decision, every product, and every interaction. Covey suggests we as individuals should also have a personal mission statement, a personal constitution that acts as a compass for our lives. For example, a mission statement might be to be a compassionate leader who empowers others and fosters innovation, living with integrity, and contributing positively to my community. Practical application. Start by drafting your personal mission statement. This isn't a quick task. It requires deep reflection. Consider your roles in life, e.g., parent, professional, friend, community member, and what you want to achieve and be in each role. Keep it visible and review it regularly. Before starting any significant project or even a day, take a few moments to visualize the desired outcome. For instance, before a difficult conversation, visualize it ending constructively. Before a work project, visualize its successful completion and the positive impact. This mental clarity fuels effective action. Habit 3. Put first things first. Explanation. This habit is about physical creation, the practical application of habits 1 and 2. It's about organizing and executing your actions based on your predetermined priorities. Essentially, it means doing what is most important, even when there are many other things vying for your attention. It's about saying no to less important things to say yes to your highest priorities. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this habit addresses our innate struggle with time management and self-discipline. We often get caught in the tyranny of the urgent, reacting to immediate demands rather than focusing on long-term goals. Covey introduces the time management matrix, a powerful tool to categorize activities based on two dimensions: urgency and importance. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. Crises, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects. These are necessity activities. We must deal with them, but too much time here leads to stress and burnout. Quadrant 2, not urgent and important. Prevention, relationship building, recognizing new opportunities, planning, recreation. These are quality and personal leadership activities. This is the heart of effective living. Investing time here prevents future crises and helps achieve long-term goals. Quadrant 3, urgent and not important. Interruptions, some calls, some mail, some reports, some meetings, popular activities. These are deception activities. They feel urgent, but contribute little to our core values. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Trivia, some mail, some phone calls, time wasters, pleasant activities. These are waste activities. The goal is to spend the majority of our time in Quadrant 2. This requires proactive choice, Habit 1, and a clear vision of what's important, Habit 2. At home, it's about organizing your week around your personal mission, rather than letting your week be organized by external pressures. Illustrative examples. The big rocks. Analogy. Covey vividly illustrates this with the analogy of a jar, big rocks, pebbles, and sand. If you fill the jar with sand or pebbles first, you won't have room for the big rocks, your most important priorities. But if you put the big rocks in first, the pebbles and sand will fill in around them. The big rocks are your Quadrant 2 activities: family time, personal development, strategic planning, building relationships. If you don't schedule them first, they'll never get done. The business executive's strategic planning. An executive constantly dealt with urgent emails and impromptu meetings, Quadrant 1 and 3. By consciously blocking out 2 hours each week for strategic planning, Quadrant 2, he began to proactively identify and address future challenges, preventing many crises from arising and allowing his department to grow exponentially. This dedicated time for important but not urgent work became his competitive edge. The student prioritizing study versus distractions. A student with a major exam, Quadrant 1, initially spent time on social media and casual chats, Quadrant 3 and 4. By deciding to put first things first, they scheduled specific, uninterrupted study blocks for the exam, Quadrant 2, to prevent Quadrant 1 panic, and only allowed themselves leisure activities after the most important tasks were done. This led to better grades and less stress. Practical application. Identify your big rocks for the week. These are your Quadrant 2 activities directly tied to your personal mission statement. Schedule these first. Use a weekly planning system rather than just a daily to-do list, which can often be filled with urgent but unimportant tasks. Learn to say no, politely but firmly, to requests that fall into Quadrant 3 or 4, especially if they detract from your most important work. Consistently evaluate if your daily actions align with your long-term vision. Part 2. The Public Victory: Building Effective Relationships. Welcome back to our continuing deep dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people. After achieving the profound personal mastery of the private victory, becoming proactive, setting clear ends in mind, and prioritizing what truly matters, we now transition to the public victory. Stephen Covey powerfully asserts that you cannot achieve true public success, build deep, lasting relationships, or lead effectively without first achieving personal mastery. Your interactions with others are fundamentally a reflection of your own character, integrity, and self-discipline. The public victory is all about interdependence, the revolutionary concept that we are all interconnected and that the greatest successes often come from effective collaboration and mutual benefit. It's about moving beyond I to embrace we, from individual achievement to shared triumph. This section introduces 3 transformative habits that empower us to interact authentically and powerfully, shifting us from independence to interdependence. Habit 4. Think win-win. Explanation. This habit is more than just a technique. It's a profound mindset and a philosophy for human interaction. To think win-win means to approach all dealings with others by seeking mutually beneficial solutions and agreements. It's not a matter of my way or your way. It's about finding a third alternative, a better, more expansive way that genuinely benefits all parties involved. In a win-win scenario, both sides feel they have gained something valuable, creating a foundation for ongoing, positive relationships. Deep analysis. This habit directly challenges what Covey calls the scarcity mentality, the pervasive belief that if someone else wins, you must, by definition, lose. This zero-sum thinking often leads to competitive, adversarial interactions where individuals or groups try to dominate, hoard resources, or achieve victory at another's expense. The psychological roots of the scarcity mentality lie in fear, insecurity, and a lack of self-worth. Conversely, the win-win paradigm flows from the abundance mentality, the conviction that there's plenty for everyone, that success is not a limited resource, and that creativity and cooperation can expand the pie for all. This mindset fosters trust, encourages innovative problem-solving, and builds long-term, healthy relationships based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. It requires a blend of courage to pursue what you want and consideration to genuinely understand and care about what others want. Without courage, you'll fall into win-lose or lose-win. Without consideration, you'll be stuck in win-lose. Covey also identifies other relationship paradigms. Win-lose. If I win, you lose. Often autocratic, competitive, and ego-driven. Lose-win. I lose, you win. Characterized by people-pleasing, fear of confrontation, or a desire for popularity, often leading to suppressed feelings and long-term resentment. Lose-lose. If you lose, I lose too. Often the result of 2 win-lose individuals clashing, leading to destructive outcomes for everyone. Win. I just want to win, and I don't care about you. Highly self-centered, but often unsustainable. The ultimate aim is to create win-win or no deal. If a truly synergistic solution cannot be found, it's sometimes better to walk away from a deal, to preserve the relationship and your integrity for future opportunities. Illustrative examples. The challenging business negotiation. Consider a tech company, Company A, wanting to license software from a smaller developer, Company B. Company A's initial offer is low. Win, lose from their perspective. Company B pushes for a higher price. Win, lose from their perspective. A win-win negotiation involves Company A explaining their need for a lower cost due to market pressure, and company B, explaining their need for revenue to fund R&D. The win-win solution might be a tiered licensing model where company B gets a percentage of revenue plus a bonus for exceeding certain sales targets, and company A gets a lower upfront cost but commits to marketing company B's software aggressively. Both sides achieve their core interests and are incentivized for shared success. Parent-child conflict over chores. A child refuses to do chores. A win nicht Lucy. Parent might yell or ground the child. A lose-win parent might do the chores themselves to avoid conflict. A win-win parent would involve the child in the decision-making process. What chores do you think are fair for you to do to help our family? What reward would make you want to do them consistently? This empowers the child, making them a partner in the solution rather than a subordinate. Community development project. A city council wants to build a new park, but residents are concerned about traffic and noise. A win-lose approach is for the council to push through their plan or for residents to block it entirely. A win-win approach would involve community meetings where residents' concerns are genuinely heard. The outcome might be a redesigned park with sound barriers, dedicated parking, and specific operating hours agreed upon by both sides, resulting in a beloved community space. Challenges and overcoming them. The biggest challenge is our ingrained scarcity mentality. Overcome this by consciously shifting your perspective. When faced with conflict, deliberately look for the third alternative. Practicing empathy. Truly try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. Building a win-win environment. Reward collaborative behavior and discourage cutthroat competition within your teams or family. Communicating openly. Clearly, state your needs and interests, and invite others to do the same. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Explanation. This habit is about empathic listening. Listening with the profound intent to truly understand the other person, not with the intent to reply, argue, or advise. Most people listen autobiographically, filtering what they hear through their own experiences, paradigms, and preparing their next response. Covey emphasizes that this is often the most powerful form of influence. Deep analysis. Psychologically, the deepest human need is to be understood, to be affirmed, to be validated. When you genuinely seek to understand another person, you are giving them what Covey calls psychological air. You are signaling that they matter, that their thoughts and feelings are important, and that you respect their unique perspective. This act of deep, empathetic listening builds an enormous reservoir of trust and rapport. Until a person feels truly understood, their emotional defenses remain high, and they are often not receptive to your ideas, advice, or influence. It's like trying to diagnose a patient without hearing their symptoms. Empathic listening is not. Advising, jumping in with solutions. Probing, asking questions based on your agenda. Interpreting, explaining their motives based on your own experience. Evaluating, judging their thoughts or feelings. Instead, it involves listening with your eyes, observing body language, heart, empathizing with their emotions, and ears, attending to their words. Only after the other person feels completely heard and understood, often evidenced by them opening up further or saying, "Yes, that's exactly how I feel," are they then open and receptive to understanding your perspective. This sequence is crucial. Seek to understand first, then to be understood. Illustrative examples. The crisis hotline counselor. A skilled crisis counselor doesn't immediately offer solutions. They listen, often for hours, allowing callers to pour out their fears, anger, and despair. They reflect feelings, ask clarifying questions, and ensure the caller feels completely heard and understood. Only then, when the caller's emotional air is filled, can the counselor gently guide them toward resources or coping strategies. The salesperson who listens. A highly effective B2B salesperson spends 80% of initial meetings listening. They ask open-ended questions like, "What are your biggest challenges right now? What keeps you up at night? What would success look like for you in this area?" By genuinely listening to the client's needs, fears, and aspirations, the salesperson can then tailor their product or service as the perfect solution to the client's expressed needs, rather than just pitching features. The client feels truly understood, leading to trust and a sale. The teenager's frustration. A teenager bursts into the house, slamming the door and complaining loudly about a teacher. A parent's typical reactive response might be, "Don't talk about your teacher like that," or "What did you do?" A parent practicing habit 5 would instead say, "Wow, you seem really upset. Tell me what happened. I'm listening." As the teenager vents, the parent might nod, make eye contact, and even reflect. "So you're feeling really frustrated because it seems unfair?" Once the teen feels heard, they might calm down and be receptive to a conversation about strategies or solutions. Challenges and overcoming them. The biggest challenge is our natural tendency to want to fix things or to be heard ourselves. Overcome this by consciously biting your tongue. Resist the urge to interrupt or offer advice immediately. Practicing active listening techniques. Paraphrase what you hear. Reflect emotions. Ask open-ended questions. Developing a diagnose before you prescribe mentality. Just as a doctor doesn't prescribe medicine before understanding the symptoms, don't offer solutions until you fully understand the problem. Building a courage and consideration balance. It takes courage to be vulnerable and truly listen, and consideration to put another's needs before your own immediate desire to speak. Habit 6. Synergize. Explanation. Synergy is the essence of creative cooperation, where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When people truly synergize, they transcend individual capabilities to generate new, innovative alternatives and solutions that are superior to anything any single person or even a simple compromise could have conceived alone. It's about valuing differences and leveraging them to create something extraordinary and previously unimaginable. Deep analysis. Psychologically, synergy thrives on the celebration of differences and the principle of respectful curiosity. It recognizes that varying perspectives, strengths, and even weaknesses can complement each other, leading to breakthroughs. It requires a solid foundation of win-win thinking, habit 4, and deep empathic communication, habit 5. When individuals feel psychologically safe enough to express their unique ideas without fear of judgment and genuinely listen to understand others, a powerful creative dynamic emerges. Solutions are explored in an expansive, rather than a restrictive way. Synergy is not simply compromise, where each party gives up something to meet in the middle. Instead, it's about finding a third alternative that truly elevates the solution, where everyone gains more than they initially thought possible. It's about creating something entirely new from the interaction of different ideas, rather than merely combining existing ones. The key is to seek first to understand, even if you find yourself in disagreement, and then to respect those differences as opportunities for new insights. Illustrative examples. The diverse innovation team. Consider a tech company where engineers see only technical feasibility, marketers see only customer appeal, and finance sees only cost. If these departments operate in silos, they might produce a functional but unappealing, or appealing but financially ruinous product. Through synergy, by bringing them together in a trusting environment where each listens to the other's perspectives, they might co-create a product that is both technically innovative, highly marketable, and profitable, something none could have designed alone. The third alternative, in family decisions. Two parents are arguing about their child's education. One wants a traditional academic school. The other wants a progressive, arts-focused school. A compromise might be a mediocre school that satisfies neither. A synergistic solution could involve researching a hybrid learning model or a school that offers strong academics and a robust arts program, or even exploring homeschooling that combines both approaches. The solution is richer than either original idea. Nature's synergy. Covey often points to nature as a prime example of synergy. An ecosystem where different plants, animals, and microorganisms interact produces a vibrant, resilient whole that is far more powerful and sustainable than any single component. The roots of one plant may help another absorb water. Insects pollinate flowers. Decaying leaves nourish the soil for new growth. Each element contributes uniquely to a flourishing system. Challenges and overcoming them. The main obstacles to synergy are deeply ingrained habits of competition, defensiveness, and intolerance for differences. Overcome this by embracing differences. Actively seek out people with different perspectives. View diverse opinions as assets, not threats. Practicing psychological safety. Create an environment where people feel safe to express unconventional ideas without fear of ridicule or immediate judgment. Developing a what-if mindset. Instead of saying, that won't work, ask, what if we combined X and Y? Or, how could we make that idea even better? Facilitating constructive conflict. Understand that synergy isn't the absence of conflict, but the ability to transform conflict into creative solutions through mutual respect and a higher purpose. The fishing for the third alternative technique. When disagreements arise, challenge yourselves and others to find a solution that is better than either original idea, not just a compromise. Part 3. Renewal. Sustaining your effectiveness. Welcome back to the final, yet perpetually ongoing stage of our journey through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We've built solid foundations with the private victory, mastering self, and the public victory, building effective relationships. Now, we arrive at the 7th and concluding habit, which isn't just one habit among the others. It's the indispensable habit that makes all the other habits possible, sustainable, and continuously effective. This is renewal, the commitment to consistent and deliberate self-improvement. Stephen Covey powerfully asserts that without a conscious, regular process of renewal, we risk burning out, losing our edge, and seeing our effectiveness diminish. Think of it like a finely tuned instrument. Even the best violin will fall out of tune without regular care. This habit is all about preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, you, by consistently increasing your personal production capability to ensure you can continue to produce and grow over the long term. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Explanation. This habit is a metaphorical call to action. It urges us to take time out from our work to renew ourselves in 4 fundamental dimensions of our nature: physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual. Just as a woodsman must periodically pause his frantic chopping to sharpen his saw, to cut more effectively and efficiently, we must deliberately stop our busy schedules to sharpen ourselves. Neglecting this habit leads to diminished returns, burnout, and a dulling of our most vital tools. Deep analysis. Psychologically, Sharpen the Saw addresses our innate need for balance, restoration, and continuous growth. In our fast-paced, demanding world, there's a constant temptation to push ourselves to the brink of exhaustion, believing that more hours equal more output. However, true effectiveness isn't about mere quantity of effort. It's about the quality and intelligence of our energy application. By consciously and consistently investing in the renewal of each of these 4 dimensions, you dramatically increase your capacity to be proactive, to begin with the end in mind, to prioritize effectively, to think win-win, to understand others deeply, and to synergize creatively. Neglecting any one dimension will inevitably lead to negative consequences in the others and ultimately hinder your overall effectiveness and well-being. The physical dimension. This focuses on caring for your body, which is your physical vehicle for life. It involves essential practices like eating nutritiously, getting sufficient rest and quality sleep, and engaging in regular, consistent exercise. The goal is to build strength, endurance, and flexibility. When your body is energized and healthy, your mental clarity improves, your emotional resilience strengthens, and you have more sustained energy to tackle life's intellectual and interpersonal challenges. For example, a vigorous morning walk not only boosts physical health, but also clears the mind for productive thinking. The mental dimension. This is about continuous learning and keeping your mind sharp and expanding. It includes activities like reading broadly, beyond your immediate field, writing, journaling, planning, creative expression, planning and organizing, strategic thinking, goal setting, and engaging in mental stimulation like puzzles or learning new skills. This dimension is crucial for keeping your mind agile, creative, and capable of handling complexity and new information. An hour spent reading a challenging book can provide more clarity for your week than hours of busy work. The social, emotional dimension. This involves renewing and enhancing your relationships with others. Directly putting the public victory habits 4, 5, 6 into practice. It's about contributing to others' lives, building genuine connections, practicing empathy, offering service, and nurturing your social bonds. This dimension ensures your emotional well-being and strengthens your ability to collaborate effectively. It's about giving back, building your emotional bank account with others, and finding joy in meaningful interactions. For instance, spending quality, uninterrupted time with loved ones or actively volunteering in your community can be incredibly renewing. The spiritual dimension. This dimension focuses on connecting with your values, purpose, and inner core. It involves activities that bring meaning and peace, such as meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, listening to inspiring music, reading spiritual or philosophical literature, or reflecting deeply on your personal mission statement. This is about finding direction, strengthening your integrity, and aligning your daily life with your deepest principles. This often provides the motivation and resilience needed to sustain effort in all other dimensions. A quiet morning of reflection can help center your entire day. Illustrative examples. The woodsman's ultimate lesson. Covey's core analogy of the woodsman's saw illustrates the immediate trade-off. The woodsman, too busy sawing, is losing efficiency with every swing. Taking just 5 minutes to sharpen the blade would drastically increase his output for the remaining hours. This applies to managers too busy putting out fires to plan strategically, or students too busy cramming to get enough sleep, ultimately hindering their performance. The executive's multi-dimensional routine. Imagine a high-powered CEO who starts her day with a 30-minute run, physical. She then spends 15 minutes meditating and reviewing her personal mission statement, spiritual. During her commute, she listens to an educational podcast or audiobook, mental. Throughout her day, she prioritizes one-on-one check-ins with her team members, genuinely listening and showing appreciation, social, emotional. By integrating these diverse activities, she maintains peak performance and avoids burnout. The teacher's creative outlet. A dedicated teacher facing constant demands realizes she's feeling drained. Instead of working more, she dedicates one evening a week to her painting hobby, mental, spiritual renewal, and another to meeting with a supportive group of fellow teachers, social, emotional. These breaks don't detract from her teaching. They re-energize her, making her a more patient, creative, and effective educator. Practical application. Don't just think about renewal, schedule it. Treat your Sharpen the Saw activities as non-negotiable appointments in your calendar, just like important work meetings. Identify specific activities for each of the 4 dimensions that genuinely recharge you. For example, physical, 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 times a week, ensuring 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Mental, read 1-2 nonfiction books a month. Dedicate 15 minutes daily to journaling. Social, emotional, schedule a weekly coffee with a friend. Volunteer monthly. Practice active listening in daily conversations. Spiritual, spend 10 minutes meditating daily. Take a nature walk each weekend. Reflect on your values. This habit is your personal sustainability program, ensuring you have the energy, clarity, and resilience to live all 7 habits effectively and continuously. Conclusion. The holistic path to effectiveness. And so, we conclude our deep dive into The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This journey has taken us through a profound transformation, moving progressively from dependence, where we are acted upon, to independence. The private victory, habits 1, 2, 3, then to interdependence. The public victory, habits 4, 5, 6, and finally to continuous renewal, habit 7. This is not a quick fix program, nor is it a simple list of superficial self-help tips. It's a holistic, principle-centered framework for character development and personal mastery. Stephen Covey teaches us that true effectiveness stems not from adapting to external circumstances, but from aligning our lives with universal, timeless principles. Principles like fairness, integrity, honesty, and dignity. It's about building our lives on a foundation of unchanging truths, cultivating courage in action, and fostering a deep understanding of human nature. In a world that constantly bombards us with external pressures, fleeting trends, and the allure of instant gratification, Covey's wisdom serves as an enduring lighthouse. It reminds us that lasting change and genuine success always begin from the inside out. By consistently understanding and integrating these habits into your daily life, you're not just becoming more productive or efficient. you're becoming a more balanced, integrated, and influential individual, capable of creating a truly meaningful life and making a significant, positive impact on the world around you. This is the ultimate promise of the 7 Habits, a life of profound effectiveness, integrity, and contribution. Call to action for your YouTube channel. If you've felt the profound impact of Stephen Covey's wisdom in this comprehensive summary, I wholeheartedly encourage you to acquire and read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in its entirety. The depth of his insights, the richness of his personal stories, and the practical exercises embedded within the book will undoubtedly amplify your understanding and accelerate your personal journey toward true effectiveness. We'd love to hear from you. Which of the 7 habits resonated most deeply with you today? Or which one do you find most challenging to implement? What's one small, specific step you're committed to taking to sharpen your saw this week in any of the 4 dimensions? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your commitment to personal growth inspires this entire community. If you found this detailed audiobook summary valuable, please give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. Subscribe for more transformative book insights, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into life-changing wisdom. Thank you for listening, and remember, your journey to greater effectiveness is a continuous, rewarding process that begins with a single, conscious choice to be better, to do better, and to live by principles. Keep sharpening that saw.